Okay, I think it's not working the way we supposed to start this scheduled live stream, but it doesn't matter. Welcome everyone. If you're here, if not, I know it could be confusing because I I wanted to start what is it scheduled live stream, but my phone is acting up. We're gonna go a little bit of whatever came, the news is on the market, and we'll see what we get. We'll see what we get today. If you're here, hit the like and subscribe. We're just gonna go ahead and see what was the latest updates, if there was any. I know the market's not looking good. Obviously, we know the reasons. The boys already took their money. They a lot of people longed Bitcoin 60,000. We also kind of went through yesterday how few companies, especially um, SpaceX, is going to IPO, and that could be a reason why the markets, especially the AI markets, is staying high. We don't know. We don't know, but that could be it. Also, yesterday we kind of touched that it's looking like the rest of the year we may not get any rate cuts, and that's because inflation is going through the roof. Thanks for the war that was started in Iran. Um, welcome back. All right, so welcome back. All right, so the we said the odds of a rate cut is 71%. Now there will be no rate cuts rest of the year. Zero chance of rate cuts. That's what it means. Not sure if I said that. All right. What else we looked at yesterday? Some countries that are passing laws to restrict the illegal illicit of the cryptos. Um, Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund puts its IBIT position 16%. So basically, Abu Dhabi or UAE is kind of investing more. Obviously, they have to do that. We know that they have to do that. We're not talking about them. But let's read this story. I think it could be important. Berkshire Hathaway equity portfolio got one of its biggest renovation ever during Greg Abel's first 3 months as CEO. According to the new SEC filings, two new names, Delta Airlines and Macy's, have been added to the list, along with increases for holdings. Google parent Alphabet got the biggest boost as Berkshire Hathaway increased its holdings by 224% in the first quarter. Given its size, the increase is almost certainly an Abel move that was either endorsed or possibly even suggested by Warren Buffett. With a market value of $16.6 billion as of today, as of end of the quarter, the Google Alphabet parent is Berkshire's seventh largest equity holding. So even with the 224% increase on Google, Google is not the biggest holdings. Interesting. That's the seven largest equity holdings. And that is a $16.6 billion share. At least for the short time, the decision to buy many shares has been spectacular success. And also, we kind of viewed a couple weeks ago that they're sitting a lot in a lot of cash, and they can buy whenever there's a little correction in the market. As previewed by the Wall Street Journal last month, it appeared that Apple did sell many or all of the stocks that had been handled by portfolio manager Todd Combs, who moved the JP Morgan in early December. It could be because, he's going to a competitor, could be a competitor, because they kind of do um, investing as well. So that could be kind of like, hey, he knows what we already hold and what our. I mean, it could be public as well. So I don't know. I don't know what could be the reason why they did that. Some of the holdings eliminated in the first quarter included Visa, Mastercard, United Health, Domino Pizza, Amazon, and Alta Bravos Holdings. No idea what that company is. Constellation Brands, which has been associated with the comms, was all but eliminated with a cut of 95%. Woo, that's a huge cut. Bank of America and Apple, which have been sustained reduced in previous quarters, was spared, not cut at all. I mean, they both have, at least Apple has good growth. BNA, I don't know what that is, was trimmed by less than 1%, and Apple's position was unchanged. Oh, Bank of America. Okay. Measured by the, obviously, they don't want to touch Apple. Apple is a massive. Measured by the market value, Chevron was the first quarter's largest reduction. Wow, I did not expected that. The shares in 35% cut were valued at more than $8 billion as of end of the first quarter. The remaining stock was worth more than $17 billion at the time. Especially given its larger size, it is not enough to become stock. The stock was risen in the first quarter, and Berkshire Hathaway was selling, but it has dropped 7%, 7.6% since the end of the quarter one. It is still up 25% year to date, and elevated oil prices due to the Iran war. I mean, everything you look, the Iran war, the cost, effect of the Iran war is more than we can speculate. It's doing its damage. So Mark Cuban was a crypto skeptic early on, and even ignored Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong's reach out. But this trigger a moment changed everything. In June 2020, let me see. I these days I cannot read if it's the font is not bold enough. So let me see. Let me see if I can read this. It's so tiny. In June 2024 interview with the Coinbase chief legal officer Paul Grewal, Cuban said, paid attention to Bitcoins early on, and even created a Coinbase account to some free crypto. He liked the free crypto, I guess. Mark Cuban revealed that Coinbase co-founder Brian's initial reach out to him, but I did not invest because I quite didn't grasp it back then. That's when he was, I think, in the Shark. Is he even still in the Shark Tank? But the trigger moment, as he described, came when Ethereum rolled out to the smart contract functionality. That really is what changed the game in my mind, from technology perspective, because the ability to have external sources that create triggers, then they enable previous transaction to occur all independently without any human intervention. To me, that's a big deal, said Cuban. I think that was like a year ago. So I think it might have been early in the cycle. Not sure the date. He said that smart contracts have been potential to unlock unique application opportunities in the markets, and it's actually doing. A lot of the companies are taking advantage of it. Cuban has invested in cryptocurrencies a heavyweight, much as such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, before, but picked ETH as having a high upside potential among the cryptocurrencies. I wonder what he believes now, because Ethereum has have not done really good. That said, he has endorsed Bitcoin as a superior alternative to gold during the economic crisis. And this is the issue: is like gold outperformed everything this cycle. I mean, it outperformed Bitcoin, it outperformed all the cryptos, right? At least 100%. I don't know about Bitcoin if it's 100%. But this year, Bitcoin retraced 50%. It's up about 27%. Today, it's still down like 1% today. It's still 78,000, down from 80 something thousand. And this is a moment when a lot of people say, hey, if we buy this thing, it may not outperform the traditional markets. And, we'll see though. We'll see. I think if they just held, it might it might be good. But a lot of these people don't really understand. I mean, he's a businessman, so he understands that you just gotta buy and wait. That's the way a lot of people don't understand it. Cuban, a minority owner of NBA team Dallas Mavericks. Oh, I thought he owned. Okay, has also been an avid supporter of Dogecoin. Oh, and frequently uses his public image and social media reach to endorse the cryptocurrency. Forbes estimated his net worth $6 billion, with a significant portion stemming from the 5.7 billion sale of Broadcast.com from Yahoo in 1999. Wow, big portion. So he hasn't increased that much. So it's only like 0.3% increase from 1999. So he's not really doing well. Free SpaceX backdoor blueprint reveals the 8 tickers to strike your climb pre-IPO. Is this different? This might be different. The SpaceX IPO is just about 1 month out, and once mainstream piles in, the big money is probably been made. That's probably been made. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that's a different story, but we're not gonna go that far. And this is why, like a lot of the big boys, kind of realize that crypto is not something to play with, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. But Ethereum underperformed everything else. That's surprising. That was surprising to me this last cycle. It really barely did anything. It barely surpassed its all-time high. And if these big boys had to come, uh, and this could be the reason. Don't get me wrong. The reason why they're keeping the price where it is could be like, hey, weak hands out, and to kind of see if they can get as much as they can before the price moves. But who knows? If the underwriters, this IPO sparked bubble fears. If the IPO released too few shares, Kramer warned demand could push SpaceX valuation towards $5 trillion. So remember, the depends on the shares that they push the market. We're kind of looking $1.7 trillion. That's what we said yesterday. But now, Kramer, that guy, he's saying that the shares, the evaluation could go as high as $5 trillion. That would be That would be crazy amount of money they are making in a month off of SpaceX. The SpaceX parent company Starlink, the social X platform, and Quokka AI chatbot is said to be planning a June 12th Nasdaq listing, while five for one, five things. So one, two, three, four. Which one is the five? That's crazy. Stock split towards lowers the per share price. Its IPO prospectus is expected to as nearly as last week, next week. .com warning. Creamer warns that the listing could set a precedent for an Anthropic and OpenAI. They both going public, both of which are considering public IPOs. Adding the wave of major tech IPOs, and this is the reason why the markets are so hyped, is they don't want to offer all these public offerings, do all these IPOs when the market is red and crashing. You know what I mean? They really don't care about crypto because I'm very sure that's where they will buy and put their money in, but the traditional markets still all time high, and they may want to keep everything all time high until they get the money, but we don't know. Adding that a wave of major tech IPOs could lead investors to sell. Oh, we read that. The stock market, like any other market, is all about supply and demand. Criminals say too much supply and the market breaks it down, which triggers the second one. And also is what makes it crazy is like, hey, are they gonna hit SpaceX, make their money, and then they either gonna go Anthropic if it IPOs, put their money, make their money there, get out, and then open AI. So they constantly have the advantage of first mover. They're the ones that these big boys are dealing with, and their money is the one that's going to be, you know, accepted. The shares are going to be the ones that are awarded first, and that could be crazy. We will see though. He urged underwriters to price deals responsibly and caution against creating artificial first-day trading gains, a practical common during the late 1990s .com era. Even only a small number of shares were made available to create scarcity and drive hype. That bubble later bust between 2000 and 2002, erasing trillions of dollars in the market value as oversaturated valuations fell sharply. They did the later. Mm, they did the latter during the .com era, and that ended up horribly, said Jim Cramer. IBO valuation concerns. Cramer warning aligns with venture capital's Shamath Pali, whatever that name is, concerns over speculative speculative some words I cannot read today, so stay with me, okay? Excessive and potentially saturated tech IPO markets, adding to the concerns that SpaceX has already delivered roughly about 5x appreciation, compounding from $350 to its current 1.75 trillion IPO target, entirely in the private markets. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. He already got the money. His friends are already lined up. He doesn't care who loses. That's what it is. Where most of retail investors had no access, SpaceX event. What is this? SpaceX eventual public listing could reset a valuation benchmark across AI, defense, and advanced computing, according to the private market analysis. Uh, so that's crazy. Anchorage Digital's David Lowan also warned that IPOs from SpaceX, OpenAI, and Anthropic could suck air from crypto markets by observing significant institutional liquidity. And that's the thing, like we're talking about 70 something thousand. This could be the trigger that takes the cryptos, especially Bitcoin, under 50,000. You know? Yeah, they did good. They accumulated cheap around 60,000. It's 78,000. They're still in profit. This thing went to 80s, right? This is the money they will be investing into the IPOs that are coming up. And this is really concerning. They don't care if cryptos goes up from now on because hey, 20,000 up, that's enough for them. Almost 20,000, right? So if they bought it, if they each bought one Bitcoin or whatever, thousands of Bitcoin, depending on how the size they have, they're sitting in crazy amount of money of profit, and all they have to do is sell that, get their money, buy the IPOs one after other. That could take 2 to 3 months, depending on when Anthropic decides to do the IPO and when OpenAI does theirs. But the first one that we already know is SpaceX, $1.7 trillion, right? And it could go as $5 trillion. Where is that money coming from? That money could be coming from the crypto markets, right? Because they don't want to crush the traditional market really hard. That is what gives them legitimacy. That's what gives them uh, encouragement to do these IPOs. So they want to keep as much of the hype in the market as possible. But in cryptos, they don't care. Well, after the IPOs are done, we may see everything go crazy down. Like, but so far we don't know what they are planning. So, free SpaceX backdoor blueprint reveals 8 tickers to stake your claim pre-IPOs. The SpaceX IPO is just about 1 month out, which is not quite 1 month. It's not quite 1 month because it's June 15th. Oh, yeah, 15 or 15, yeah, about 1 month. IPO is about a month out, and once mainstream piles in, we read that, didn't we? That's one other thing. Like I'm cautioning everyone I know. It's like, yeah, it takes. It doesn't take that much to crush everything. So all these AIs will be hyped within the next few weeks. You're going to see a lot of articles, a lot of videos in YouTube talking about all these amazing technologies, the AIs. You can do this much. You could do this and that, right? Because they want to create that demand. They want to create that demand. They want to make sure everybody understands this is the only thing you need, right? Until they do the IPOs. It's all about advertisement. They don't care who's losing the money. They don't care who is down, all that stuff, right? All they care is, hey, can we hype enough people um, and get the money? All right, that is that. So now in SpaceX, the boss of SpaceX boss is saying that he won't sell any shares before the IPO, but we know he's selling to his friends. It's especially Trump. Elon Musk has said that he does not plan to sell any SpaceX shares as the company moves closer to a possible public listing that could rank among the largest initial public offering ever reported. Musk made a statement on X in response to a user who suggested that he sell shares after a lockup period. I'm not selling any shares, he said. The comment came as reports said SpaceX may file publicly for its IPO as soon as next week after already filing confidential paperwork. The company is reportedly seeking to raise as much as $75 billion through the offering. Reported evaluation targets range from about $1.7 trillion to more than $2 trillion. That's an increase. Depending on the financial return market conditions and the regulatory timing. SpaceX is expected to list in the Nasdaq under the ticker SPCX, with reports pointing to a possible market debut around June 11 to June 12. Final timing may still change. SpaceX approval 5-for-1 stock split. SpaceX shares were notified that the company is carrying out 5-for-1 stock split ahead of the expected IPO. The split reduces the fair market value for each share from around $526 to roughly $100. Under the split, each listing shares became 5 shares. For overall ownership percentage of the shareholder remains unchanged, while the lower percentage, while the lower price per share may make the stock more accessible to wider investors base once it begins trading publicly. The split is expected to be processed during the week of May 18th and completed by May 22nd, according to reports citing people familiar with the matter. Stock splits do not change a company's total valuations. They adjust the number of shares and the price per share. Companies sometimes use stock splits before and after periods of high investor demand to improve trading liquidity and reduce visible cost of each share. IPO could raise up to $75 billion. SpaceX planned offering is being close watch because of the company's scale across rocket satellite internet, which means the internet, whatever it's called, right? And artificial intelligence, which is X, intelligence related operations. Its Starlink satellite business launch services and government contracts have made company one of the most valuable private firms in the world. As we reported, SpaceX seek to raise up to $75 billion in IPOs. It could near the reported valuation range. The listing would place SpaceX among the world's most valuable public traded companies. Banking group reportedly includes Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citigroup's J.P. Morgan Chase, and Goldman Sachs. These firms are expected to help manage the offering if the company moves forward. The company's public filing could come as soon as Wednesday, according to the Bloomberg's report, citing people familiar with the matter. Public filings could give the investors more detail on SpaceX financial position, risk factors, business structure, and government terms. My bad. Elon Musk is expected to keep voting control. Ooh, okay, 50 plus. Musk currently owns a large SpaceX stock and is expected to maintain control of the after the IPO through a dual class share structure. Reportedly said he owns about 42% of the company's equity and may retain about 78% of the voting power after the listing. That's crazy. Dual class shares structure allow founders or insiders to hold shares with greater voting rights than ordinary public shares. These structures are common among founder-led technology companies through though they can limit the influence of inside shareholders. The reported IPO structure may also include restricting insider control provisions, super voting rights, and arbitration clauses. Investors will review these detailed once public filings are available. Consequently, Elon Musk statement that he does not plan to sell SpaceX shares may be viewed by investors as relevant to founder alignment, though the filing IPO documents will determine how many shares are offered and whether any existing investors sell the stocks. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. We know Bitcoin is going down. This is May 13, and this by the time Peter Brandt says that Bitcoin is going down, that was like few days ago. I mean, Bitcoin was technically was uh around up 79s to 80,000s, but I don't know. Bitcoin price recently reported about 79,000 or area has not been yet confirmed durable bottom, according to the veteran trader Peter Brand. I've never heard of his name, who warned that the BTC remains inside a broader corrective structure rather than verified reversal pattern. Brunt said Bitcoin has not completed a recognizable bottom, pointing to a daily chart structure that resembles near a bear channel development from February. Let's see what he's talking about. I from daily, I am viewing Bitcoin's from February, he said. So he's talking about the structure where Bitcoin bottomed. Um, Let me see. Is this one necessary? Let me do this. I am doing my analysis quite a little better this way, which it did the same thing. Okay, so that was all time low. It was February, and it kind of got stopped multiple times around the 80s. We have the second day of red candle. Um, if that happens, if it comes back to the 20s, let me see. Then we're looking Bitcoin to erase everything and test that channel again. That could come as around 71,000 or higher, 72. let's say it's 72.5, depending on when it goes back to the channel. So he thinks that we're not close and we could test the 60 again. And if it doesn't hold, that means we're going lower. That is what he's talking about when he says that bear structure forming uh, from February. Bitcoin was trading near 79,660 after testing resistance close to upper side of the channel. Well, we know it passed already. It broke that. The level has become important because the recent rally from April lows such has pushed price directly into a zone where sellers previously regained control. So we know it kind of broke 79, and we know it wasn't a durable. It broke that resistance. We went upper 80s. I mean lower 80s, and now we are under that 79 that he's talking about. So we'll see where we go from here. Bitcoin Treasury Company Strategy announced on Friday that it would reduce purchases of $1.5 billion in zero convertible notes due to 2029, due in 2029. It's retiring about half of its 2029 convertible notes tranches total outstanding debt. I don't know what he's talking about. Let's just, it's not important, I guess. Excuse me. This is crazy. Let's read this one. Okay, Iran. Oh, this, it's not a good report. I don't know. Let's see. Who wrote that article? Let me go after the article. So Iran says it has prepared a mechanism to manage traffic through Strait of Hormuz that investigate and basically they're trying to collect as much fees as possible by doing that. So let's see what that becomes. That's crazy. So either it has to be accepted or it has to be a war. And I don't know which one it's gonna go to. But it's not promising, to be honest with you. None of this is promising. The market is still bearish, obviously. Could this be a... Oh, the hourly, it's already looks like oversold on the RSI. But you can, I mean, it's extremely down. I'll share with you guys the charts whenever we get a good computer that we can do that. So far, I'm not able to share any of the charts with you guys, but the structure looks very bearish, to be honest with you. Let's start with the and it was deep flush. It was quite the 4 hour and 8 hours. It showed a flash that was insane. Not sure if I can see. Is this necessary? Let's get rid of that. Trying to use a trend line and see if we can predict where it is going. It's trying to come back. Okay, so it does not like it. Yeah, it was a deep flush from 80 to, that was a crazy flush to 78 too. And then it kind of tried to go up 79.6. It got rejected, but now that was a slow move to downside. We will see if it goes up again. Let me go to 15 minute and try to see if we can correctly. So hard to chart when it does that. See, if I do that, it's just not going to. It's supposed to be like that. A list like that. But it broke. So I don't know. I don't think you can just guess anything that Bitcoin is doing right now. It's just these boys they know the game they're playing. Does not look it. So that's all I have now. The market is scary. Be careful with the markets and how you try to long and all that. It's kind of look like it's breaking the structure and heading to the upside. But that's when they will get you. It's like anytime you kind of think it's going, you know, you don't know. You don't know. They just grabbing liquidity. And honestly, I think the safest thing to do is just wait until something breaks, something happens. Either it goes up extremely or it just goes down extremely. And then you can just chart and see guess where it's going. But other than that, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you.